How did I invest my first $1,000? Just like this. How are you guys doing today? My name is Apple, and today we are filling in the financial gap between schools and the real world. And today we are coming back to that series about how to invest your first $1,000. So in our first video in the series, we talked about the first 2 steps that you got to take with your investing your first $1,000. So definitely refer back to that first video before you watch this one, because this is step 3. So these videos are going to be a bunch of step 3s that you can choose from, that you can implement multiple into your investing. But you got to follow step 1 and 2 first. So definitely check that video out before you finish this one. But what this video is going to be talking about is how to invest your first $1,000 into index funds. And index funds are a very, very valuable way for you to start investing. So we're going to talk about what they are, what you need to look for in an index fund, and how you can use an index fund to basically multiply your money with your first $1,000. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video today. So definitely stick around. It's going to be a good one. Be sure to, before we hop in, share this video with a friend so that they can see how to turn that $1,000 they might have sitting in their bank account into money that's going to be growing and growing over the long term, be multiplying out and be generating more wealth over time than just letting it sit in a bank account and getting outpaced by inflation. So definitely share this with a friend who you care about so that they can see what they should be doing with their money to make sure it's not outpaced by inflation. And this is a very, very easy way to get started with investing. Very minimal effort required and very minimal knowledge required as well. So we're gonna hop right in and show you guys how to start investing very easily. So let's do it. First off, what is an index fund? Index funds, what we're talking about, what are they? So what an index fund is it's a collection of stocks. So a collection of stocks. Sorry about my handwriting. It is bad. Collection of stocks. So you've got this collection of stocks. You got a basket. You got a clump of stocks. And inside this clump, there are stocks from many different companies, many different sectors. It really depends on what this index fund is. So there are index funds that contain stocks from the utilities industry. There are index funds that contain stocks from the technology industry. There are index funds that track the gold sector. There are index funds that track the entire market. There are index funds that track international markets, and they're basically index funds for anything you could imagine. If there is a sector, if there's a market, if there is anything that you think has serious potential, I would be very surprised if you could not find at least 5 index funds tracking that thing. And what index funds are really, really good for, they're really good for diversification. So you're able to get exposed to stocks of literally thousands of different companies with just investing in one thing. So you buy this thing as if it was just a share of a company. So you buy it on a stock exchange, you buy it through Robinhood, through Fidelity, through whoever your stockbroker is. You buy a share of this index fund in the form of an ETF, and you buy this, and it trades just like a stock. You can trade in and out very easily. It's very liquid, and you get diversification because you're exposed to so many different things. You can be exposed to literally thousands of companies in a certain sector with just one investment, which is great because it very much mitigates risk. So if one company spikes down, the other ones hold relatively constant. You're not going to see a huge change in the share price, whereas if you were just invested in that one company that spiked down, you were going to be sitting at some very serious losses in your investment. So that is a very big benefit of an index fund. Again, it's a set it and forget it type of investment. So you really just, you think there's an industry that's going to do really well over the next 5-10 years, you buy a couple shares of an index fund in that industry, and you can just sort of sit on it for 5 to 10 years unless your opinion of that industry changes or whatever. But if it doesn't, you can really just sit on this investment and let it grow and come back to it in 5-10 years, and you're going to see massive, massive gains. So that is a great, great benefit of your index funds as well. And compared to other investment vehicles, like mutual funds, actively managed funds, stuff like that, index funds are going to be very much have lower expenses than these other guys because they are passively managed. They don't change around very much. They sort of just track, like an industry or a market or something like that, and they don't have to change very much. They don't have to rebalance all that often because they are just tracking an industry very passively. So it is a very great set it and forget investment with low expenses as well. So according to Warren Buffett, the index funds are the safe haven for retirement, which I completely agree with. I think they are a great way to start out a retirement portfolio. That is actually how I started out my retirement portfolio. How I started out my investing was through buying a couple of shares of an index fund in my Roth IRA, which you should definitely get one of those because they are going to help you massively. But through my Roth IRA, bought a couple shares of an index fund, still have them, and they have been growing for me for quite some time now. So if you're looking for a set it and forget it way to retire, these are a great option for you. So now let's talk about what you need to look for in an index fund. So what you want to look for in an index fund is, first and foremost, you want to look for that diversification. So you want to make sure that this is tracking what you want it to be tracking, and you want to make sure diversification, you want to make sure that it's tracking what you want it to be tracking, whether that be stocks of a certain market cap, if you're looking to get exposure to some large cap stocks, some medium cap, some small cap stocks. You want diversification in a certain area. You might want in a certain sector, say technology, say utilities, say construction materials, stuff like that. You might want exposure to certain countries. You might want a developing country exposure index fund if that's where you think the potential is. You might want an emerging markets. You might want something that tracks growth stocks or value stocks. You got to decide what your diversification, what you are looking to get out of this index fund, what you want to be exposed to is the first thing that you're going to want to look for in an index fund, because there are so many different types, so many different things that they're tracking. You got to have an idea of what you're looking for before you go into it. Next thing you're going to look at is the expense ratio. This one is also very important, expense ratio. And this is how much you are going to be paying people to be in charge of your money. So there is somebody who is in charge of these index funds. However, they are not actively managed like a mutual fund, but there is still some entity in charge of keeping these things balanced, stuff like that. So there is going to be some kind of fee for this. Generally, it's going to be much lower than with a mutual fund. There's really no reason to be paying more than 0.5% for your index fund for 9 times out of 10. So look for that low expense ratio. That is very important because this money is going to add up over time. Even if it is only 0.5% over time, that is going to make a huge difference in the potential gains that you can have because of compound interest. So compound interest is going to massively impact your returns, and 0.5% with compound interest can be very life-changing. Can be a difference of like hundreds of thousands of dollars over 40-50 years, to be honest. Next, you want to look at their holdings. So this sort of goes along with diversification, but you want to look at exactly what their biggest holdings are. So what are they most heavily invested in? What companies, what stocks, what bonds are making up the majority of this index fund, because those are going to have the most sway on where this thing moves. So if you see an index fund that tracks the market you want it to, but its top holdings are not companies that you think are going to do great in the long term, then this might be an investment that you don't want to go through with. So you got to make sure you know which companies exactly you are investing in with this index fund, not just the market that it's tracking, because there might be some companies in there that set off red flags for you and that you might not think are going to be great investments in the long term. And lastly, we want to look for is past performance, but in relation to an index. So past performance is not obviously indicative of future behavior, but you want to look at how well it has performed in relation to the market sector index that it has been trying to track. So if it's an S&P 500 index fund and it has been tracking the S&P 500 very accurately for the last, 10 years, then this might be a good place for you to think about investing. However, if it is tracking, say, an industry like gold, and gold has risen I don't know, 38% over the last 10 years, and this stock has fallen 5% over the last 10 years, then you might want to think, I don't know if this is actually doing a great job of tracking the sector that I want it to. And you want to make sure that it is actually doing what it claims to be, and that it is actually going to get you returns on the market that you see as promising. So those are my top 4 things to look at in an index fund. And now let's look at how you buy some and what some actual index funds look like, what their numbers look like, what their investments actually look like. So let's hop into that. How do you buy some? Well, what you're going to do is usually what you're going to want to do is invest through your same stockbroker that you have your, IRA or just brokerage account through. So for me, that is Fidelity and also Robinhood. But the benefit of investing through your current broker is that they're probably going to offer some index funds that have no commissions associated with them. So I know with Fidelity, there are like 75 index funds that I can choose from to invest in that they manage that they're not going to charge me commissions on, so I can freely trade in and out of them without having to pay large commissions, which is great, even though commissions on Fidelity are only like $5. But I mean, I would rather not be paying the $5 in commission if I don't have to. So this should be like a somewhat consideration for you. Again, with Robinhood, you don't have to pay commissions on anything, so that's great. You can buy whatever index fund you want, but through your broker is usually going to save you a little bit of money, maybe a lot in the long term. I don't know. It depends on how many you buy, how often you get in and out. Really depends on your personal situation, but I would recommend going through your same broker. All right, so let's look at 3 different index funds. We're going to compare them. We're going to see what pros and cons they have against each other. So first one we've got is the index fund that I first started investing in. It is called ONEQ, and it is a Fidelity investments index fund that tracks the NASDAQ. So we're tracking the NASDAQ composite average. NASDAQ. All right, so with ONEQ, what we've got 7% in Apple, 6% in Microsoft, 5% in Amazon, 4% in cash, and 4% in Facebook. And we've got a 0.31% expense ratio, 0.85% dividend, and a 29% return over the last year. The next one we're going to look at is VOO by Vanguard, and this tracks the S&P 500. All right, so I really hope you can read this. It did get a little bit messy, but all right, so our second one is VOO, and that tracks the S&P 500, and their holdings are very similar to ONEQ, 4% in Apple, 3% in Microsoft, 2% in Amazon, 2% in Facebook, and 2% in Johnson & Johnson. And their expense ratio is significantly lower than ONEQ, almost 8 times lower actually, at a 0.04% with a 1.83% dividend, so pretty significantly higher than ONEQ, and a 22% on that 1-year return. So that's VOO, and that is a Vanguard index fund. This one was a Fidelity, this one was a Vanguard. And this last one, IJS, is an iShares index fund. So iShares is a separate company. They are not a broker, to my knowledge. To my knowledge, they just produce index funds like this guy. And if you are a Fidelity customer, you can trade these for 0 commissions. I'm not sure about any other platforms. Of course, Robinhood is 0 commissions regardless. But I know with Fidelity, these guys are also 0 commissions. This guy tracks the S&P Small Cap 600, which is a collection of 600 very obviously small cap companies, not large cap companies such as Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, stuff like that. So this one's very different from the top 2, which are large cap company tracking. This guy is small cap. And since none of the holdings were any names that I knew, I just decided to write them up as categories. So they invest 20% in the financial sector, 19% in industrials, 15% in consumer discretionary spending, 13% in IT, and 7% in material spending. Their expense ratio is 0.25%, dividend at 1.41%, and an 11% return for the last year. So these guys are all slightly different in their diversification. So this top guy tracks the NASDAQ, this guy tracks S&P 500, so these guys are both large cap, obviously, and this is small cap. So if you're looking for a small cap investment, you would look here, and if you're looking for larger cap, you would look here. I didn't pick any that track certain sectors or anything like that, but there are lots that track certain sectors, so you can definitely look into those. There are stocks that track in developing countries as well. These guys are all US based, so all of these companies are going to be domestic companies. If you did want that international exposure, there are definitely index funds that can do that for you. So that was diversification. Now let's look at expense ratios. So we've got some pretty varied expense ratios here in terms of index fund expense ratios as far as they go. Our highest one obviously is with ONEQ here, who is tracking the NASDAQ through Fidelity, and that is sitting at our highest expense ratio. So that is definitely something to consider when you're looking at an index fund, is where their expense ratio is at. So we've got the highest one here, 0.25%, still somewhere middle of the road, but VOO has got a very low expense ratio. And I'm not sure if that is consistent among Vanguard index funds. I haven't really looked into those for very extensively since I do my investing through Fidelity. But if that is something that is consistent throughout Vanguard index funds, I think that might be a really good place to look for some low expense ratio index funds to get you started with investing and to get you started with some very nice index funds. Next, moving into holdings. So I mean, very similar among the top two, lots of large cap companies. All of these are household names. You've definitely heard of Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and Johnson & Johnson before. If you haven't, you've probably been living under a rock. And in terms of IJS, they're very split up between a bunch of small cap companies. So that is something else to consider as well. And these two guys have tracked their indexes, their respective indexes, pretty well over the past year. ONEQ has outperformed a little bit, and VOO is pretty on track. So I'd say they're pretty good. I'm not actually sure how the small cap 600 has performed over the last year. I would assume that this is pretty representative of it, just because iShares is a pretty reputable company. I'm pretty sure their index funds are doing a pretty good job at tracking their indexes. If not, though, definitely if this isn't representative of the small cap 600, let me know in the comments below, because I'd be very interested to know about that. But yeah, so I mean, that's pretty basic understanding of what an index fund is. Here's some basic examples, just so that you can see they track a bunch of different companies, each in very small quantities, and then they do charge you an expense ratio. All right, and then I did forget to mention dividends. Those are just gonna be quarterly payments to you as the shareholder just for holding these companies, because some of these companies, such as Microsoft, are gonna be paying you dividends, and since you are exposed to Microsoft, you are entitled to some of those dividends, so they're going to be giving those out to you as well. And what I would recommend is, what I do with my dividends from ONEQ is I just reinvest them. I use DRIP, which is a dividend reinvestment program, which I will make a video about as well, because that is a very, very good way to take advantage of compound interest and get your compounding going even faster. So you definitely want to be reinvesting your dividends, which is what you will do with these. And they're just going to pay these out to your brokerage account every quarter, but you can just choose to have them reinvested and buy more shares of the stocks that you're invested in with those dividends, if that is something that you would like to do. Otherwise, you can just take those quarterly payments as payments to you. So yeah, that's index funds in a nutshell for you. That's the first place that I would recommend investing your first $1,000, just because they are such a great way to diversify, to ensure that you're getting those dividend payments, and honestly, just a well-rounded investment. Set it and forget it. It's really just, it's a great beginning investment, because there's not a lot of background knowledge that you have to do. Just figure out your diversification, what you're looking to get invested in, what you're looking to get exposure in, what you want your holdings to be, and look at those expense ratios, and you're basically good to go. There's not a lot of homework that you have to do when it comes to investing in index funds, which is really nice for the beginning investor who doesn't have a lot of time to go out and learn about stocks, learn about technical indicators, learn about stock analysis, stuff like that. So index funds are a great way to get started with investing and get those gears turning about getting exposure to the stock market. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, and consider subscribing to the channel. Click on that bell icon to be notified of any future videos that I put out. And please share this with a friend so that they can learn how to get their money working for them, get their first $1,000 invested into some index funds, which are going to give you some great returns over time. As Warren Buffett says, these are the safe haven for retirement. So if you're looking to retire someday, would really recommend checking out index funds, because they are a great way to get your investing journey started and get you on on your way to financial freedom. Anyways, thank you guys for sticking around. I will see you tomorrow, and until next time.